everyone, and welcome to your reading. We are going to be addressing what action can you take to align you more closely to your purpose. All of the piles, it doesn't matter what pile you chose for any of them, I definitely picked up the sense that right now is a time of necessary and due purging. It may be a purging that hits more than one pain point or nerve. So let's just jump into that. This is probably going to be very messy, so I do apologize about that, but if you just stick with me to the end, it should all weave together. So, alright, jumping into this. Pile 1, you ended up with the World card, as well as Moon Dragon Bloodstone, Moss Agate Mushroom, and Heart Flower Agate. I picked up on your energy being very naturey, but this is, I don't know how to encapsulate this, but other than how I'm about to say it, but the nature that I was picking up on was like very low to like the forest floor nature. So it was like moss, like your stones, moss, flower, like very low to like the forest floor, like whatever floor outdoors you're working with, like nature wise. I was definitely picking up on like a foresty, like swampy sort of nature landscape though. But so basically what I'm picking up on your energy though is you're very powerful, but you're very humble. Something that I picked up on. Let me just grab my pen. You might hear some scratches. It's just me noting that I've talked about something so that we don't miss it and also that we don't go over it again. So I picked up on your aura as being like a deep blue, almost black, green, brown, gold. It's very regal, but it's like regal in a dirty way. That's not in an insulting way. I mean, this energy, it is very regal, but it almost soils the regalia that it comes with in like a rebellious way, but it's attractive, okay? It's not like a bad thing. What I'm getting at though is like despite how regal you are, you're not just this like uptight thing that's like I'm fancy. You are almost like a paradox. Separately from the fact that you are like a paradox, but additionally, you're a spectacle. You're like something that I want to watch. You are definitely something that's set apart from the rest. Even in people that are maybe in similar situations to you, you are totally like an individual. I mean, everybody's an individual, but you really stand out. Even in situations where everybody should be the same, you stand out. This paradox aspect, it makes you deeply attractive. It's undeniable. It creates carnal desires in others. I feel like the journey you're on, you're very much like, you're a butterfly right now. You've gone through like a metamorphosis, okay? It's already happened or it's happening. You know, maybe you're still feeling like the lingering tendrils of like change, but you're handling this like very powerfully, okay? Like you have siren vibes. Okay, but let me describe to you this image that I was getting as I was like channeling for you. So it's like, I got a couple of images, I'll just go over them with you, so just stick with me. But for your pile, I got this image of like a very like overgrown and jaded bunny, like overgrown, like his fur is real long or her fur is real long, and they're like kind of jaded, like they just look bored or like uninterested by the circumstances. And it's like this bunny needs to like perk up. Like bunnies should be energetic and like lively and like jumping around and stuff, but this bunny is just like jaded. So it's like you're the jaded bunny and you need to perk up. It's like you're not feeling yourself maybe. You've been feeling tired in dealing with draining situations and people, and maybe you've been consuming a lot of caffeine like routinely, even if it's not part of your typical routine or you don't want it to be. And these situations and people have been so draining that maybe they've even made you feel ill, and had these ill feelings are perhaps one of the catalysts for like what pushes you to change things for the better for yourself. Your energy, by the way, when I was picking up on it, it's very like the scene I kept coming back to and the energy I kept coming back to is like this creature, a very beautiful creature, like siren-like, but it's like a siren of a lagoon that's like in a swampy, like it's very beautiful. It's like very fantasy-like, but it's not like a siren in an ocean. It's like it's an isolated, I mean, I think sirens are quite isolated as individuals on occasion. Sometimes I can imagine them in groups, but like you're isolated, and like your environment that your energy gives off is very lagoon like and mysterious, and like I see you as like this creature that's sort of like wading in the water, and like you're not scared by murky situations. In fact, like you may have lived in them your whole life, and like you're an expert at like swimming in those dirty waters basically. So really cool, really cool. But okay, let me get back to my notes here and see if there's anything we missed. So one of the images I also got during your reading was an antique looking right facing crescent moon. Okay, and this ended up being a symbol, which by the way, sorry about that, but I accidentally moved my camera, but if you haven't, okay, make sure to look up the symbology behind your crystals if you have the time, but you really should try to make the time if you don't. And if you can even work on acquiring them, but if you can't acquire them, find something if you want. You know, this is just for like this is just like a suggestion for helping you tap into the energy. But if you don't have the crystals and you can't acquire them, what you can do is find something, a little trinket, like literally just a little tiny trinket that reminds you of this energy, this situation, and just carry it with you. Just something that reminds you of the energy so that you can constantly be, you don't have to constantly be pulled back to it, but, it's hard to have constant energy for something, so just something to remind you of your journey. So this crescent moon, though, ended up being a symbol for growth, intention, hope, setting the stage for what you wish to achieve. Okay, and this comes into the message we have for you. I have one small more message to get to you before we cover your cards here, but basically the image that I got of you, let me make sure I'm recording. Maybe you're feeling like you have to double check a lot of stuff right now. But, okay, so the image that I had of you, you know how we talked about you're in this lagoon, you're like kind of barely floating, like you're like, breaking the surface with your body, but you're not out of the water or totally in the water. You're like kind of lurking. It's just how you navigate this situation, your environment. But I get the sense though that you've always been in this environment. Like this is your environment though. Like you're very much like a siren of the lagoon, and that's your home. Like you feel home here. You're not scared here, at least I'll say. It's like a home. But anyways, in this lagoon, I had this image of you have planted these seeds, but they're underwater. You can't see them. And eventually, the seed that you planted, it sprouts a small flower over the surface of the water. And I envisioned you like holding this flower in both of your hands, like very delicately and maybe even desperately a little, because you feel like you need it to survive. This flower that you planted, you need it to survive because you need it to survive yourself. And you want it to, but you can't see if anything is like rolling out how you want it to. You're very much like in the moment, and you don't know how the future is going to pan out. But what you can't see is that there's little flecks of pollen leaving this flower and like reaching into new heights that aren't even visible to you. Like they're going into places that you don't even see yet. So in this situation, you may have felt like you've had just knots in your stomach, but you are playfully going through hardships right now, almost like in this environment. It's filled with murky water, right? I told you you were swimming in murky, like a lagoon. It's like you're slapping the surface of the murky water. Like despite that the water is so dirty, you're like playing in it. And you're at least being playful about the circumstances, and you're planting seeds, but they're beneath the surface again. So yeah, you're unsure, it seems. And there's been gnats along the way, like while you're trying to hold your flower like really delicately, there's been gnats like that have been pestering you, and you have felt like you've needed to overcome these gnats. And like I think overcome is a really important way to describe that, because gnats, it's almost comical to say you need to overcome a gnat, because a gnat is so tiny, it's little, it's nothing. And like to overcome it, it's basically like whatever issues that you may have, you may be making them bigger because they've been made to seem bigger than they are. But this isn't the truth for you. And one message that I got, and this is the last thing that I channeled, is that the depths of you only keep forming. And the swimmer, you, in this scenario, will find themselves as deep as they are willing to dive. Okay, that is about you. So, in terms of what action can you take to align you, pile one, more closely to your purpose, it's about getting out there, expressing yourself, reveling in personal freedom, living in the moment and having joy in the moment, being emotionally expressive, doing the dance of life, celebrating your freedom, crafting your character. So these are obviously cards that I've made myself. This is like the title card that I made to the deck, but I still kept it because of all the traits you could have had in the deck. This title card came out. I just thought it was significant because it's like, really, out of all the traits you can have, it really is up to you right now how you choose to present yourself to the world. I mean, it's up to all of us at all times, but it is really on your plate right now for you to decide. You're really opened up to deciding that for yourself right now. So be mindful of that. And also, the action you can take is meticulous action. Be very meticulous. Be very detailed about what it is that you want, because you're allowed to do that. So pile one, this is your message. I hope it was very helpful. If it was, please subscribe, and I would love to see you in readings in the future. If you were pulled to other piles, feel free to watch those. You can also watch the entire reading if that calls to you. And if you want to, definitely feel free to share your comments or anything that you related to in the comments below, because it helps other people to hear our stories as we share them. So if you want to, feel free to. It's definitely a safe space here, and thank you for watching. I will hopefully see you in the next one. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome. You are going to be hearing some paper sounds, but that is because I will be rustling with all my channeling notes, so let's just get into that. I'm really sorry. But, okay, so Pile 2, you've been feeling optimistic and open, but maybe so open that you feel uncertain of what's to come. You've been focusing on your health more lately, cleansing all aspects of your life, maybe from people all the way down to your personal interest. You may be feeling optimistic but insecure, and, that's okay. That is okay. Sometimes we just need a little reassurance. When I was tapping into your vibe, I really got this image of like a sunflower field with sunset setting over it. So let me get right into my notes. I'm going to be referencing these the entire time. So yeah, let's just jump into it. You are healing right now. You are ascending from this healing. And you are perhaps feeling directionless in this ascension. You believe you know what you want. This directionless is because you're away from your past, but also you are not quite yet to where you want to get to. So it's like when I was envisioning your situation, you were like this angel figure, and I actually got just in general earth angel vibes from your pile. But you're this angel figure, and you were ascending. You had wings, and you were dressed in this ancient Rome-esque garb, and you had like the leaf crown and everything, and you were holding two tools while you were ascending, and it was a expandable telescope in one hand, and I had to look what this was. I had to look it up, but it was a a math compass. So it's like one of those things that you can like open up to draw, like it lets you draw perfect circles, or it helps you draw angles. It's used though in like geometry. And so I feel like you've been doing like a lot of math, like symbolic math. You've been doing a lot of math along the way. The energy I picked up on just your journey towards your purpose is that you are right there. Like you're right there. You just need to get over this little tiny hump that you're facing. I hope this isn't too hard for you guys to absorb on your side, because I'm still learning how to format it in a way that's easily consumable on your side. So I apologize if this is messy. I'm just going to go through like the channeling notes, and hopefully by the end it all weaves together for you. So also about your aura, I picked up on your aura being like bright white, yellow, and cleansing. Also light blue, so bright that it appears white at times. You have a gentle and nurturing energy, and just overall just a very bright light vibe. Like it's literally blinding. And I heard the word bling. I heard about your aura. Your love is literally blinding. So you may deal with mistreatment because people are jaded in life. People are very wronged in life. They can be wronged, and people can become jaded by it. So when you come along, they're not expecting you. It's almost like they're blinded by your love, and your love wakes them up to love again. So, but because of that, you may deal with a lot of pain because, you come in kind of loving, and people aren't like totally ready to receive you and all your pureness. But yeah, just know that you are something. Your love is so pure. It's a catalyst to waking up others, even others who are very pained, to love again. So that's really sweet. Something else that I wanted to say is, along with this message, by the end of it, if it's all coming together for you, just angel numbers that you can watch for pile 2 is 333 and 1111, or just 3 and 1, or any amount of that number. So 333 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1 time, whatever. And the same with 1. Those numbers were prevalent in the reading. For some reason they came up. But further confirmation for you, pile 2, something in this ascension is tied to your left ankle, and it flies with you. At times, this tugs on the chain that connects you to this thing that flies with you. This thing is something that brings you great pleasure, but it's also brought pain to your root and solar plexus chakras. So your sense of security and personal power may have felt attacked at some point along this journey. You're being asked to dig your heels into new paths. in response to these painful events and to not resist any necessary change, to remain adaptable so that you can align more closely to your purpose. You're at a crossroads right now and afraid to make change, but this indicates a deeper issue. This fear does. Your reading compels me to tell you to look within your unconscious, or perhaps your dreams maybe, and your emotions for answers. So in your reading, alright, we'll kind of cover, I'll touch base with the cards like as I'm going along. In your reading, we have the Two of Swords here. So you're definitely feeling this indecisive energy, okay? It's like very emotional. You're dealing with a whole lot of water here. You may have been dealing with creative burnout because of all this indecisiveness. It's taking like a ton of your energy. It's okay. Pile 2, you are so loved. I know it may be hard when we have the capacity to deeply love the world outside of ourselves. It's hard to get that level of depth back. And it's hard to feel fulfilled upon ourselves. But you are so loved. And, you know, this is a journey that will get you to where you're going, whatever that is. So, alright, Pile 2, let's just get back to your message. I was totally rambling there. But, so, Pile 2, this is a journey of the self for you, is basically what I'm getting at, okay? So, this time, it's about nourishing yourself with good food, rest, and play. Okay, having hope is really important for you right now, Pile 2, having hope. So the stones that I pulled for you today are the lemon calcite heart, the opalite mushroom, and the selenite heart. So in your journey, on top of you may be creatively burnt out and you're dealing with a lot of emotions and indecisiveness because of the emotions and maybe just the fog of everything. Something that you may have contributed to the indecisiveness is you feel like you have multiple paths in front of you. It is okay, Pile 2, to have more than one purpose, okay? You don't have to like devote yourself wholly to one thing. You can have more than one purpose and have success in that. That's totally okay. So about you, just real quick from my channeling notes, I picked up on you being very angelic, loving, forgiving. Alright, Pile 2, so my camera just cut off there after I said forgiving, which I think is a sign, of course. But, so you may have had interruptions along the way that have literally made you question if you're on the right path, because I get the sense that even if you're not very spiritual, you are at least very in tune with your intuition, and you might typically look at interruptions like that as, oh, it's not meant for me, or that just wasn't meant to work out. But you feel so driven towards this path that when these interruptions come along and these distractions come along to get in the way of your path that leads you to your purpose, you are questioning again there, like you typically would elsewhere. But here, because you're so driven to get to your path, you're questioning even your typical ways. So even though normally you would say, well, maybe it just wasn't meant for me then because it was so hard to get there, or it was such a distracted path, it must not be meant for me. But you're so driven to get to where you're going that you almost don't care about these distractions, though they are creating doubt and confusion. So obviously that isn't helpful. But let's get back to where we were at. So about your energy, Pile 2, you're very forgiving. You have a very big heart. It's so big that it is cleansing to others. In this moment, though, it's like you need to purge something to open up the pathways that will lead you to your purpose. So this cleansing heart that you give to others in its entirety, now it's time to turn it upon yourself so that you receive that love and forgiveness and just that big warmth and that angelic nature that you turn outward. It's time to turn inward. I had a vision while I was channeling for you, and it was of, there's this puddle of water and you have on rain boots and a raincoat and you're playing in the water. this puddle of water, but after some time, the water becomes stagnant. And after it did, you realized maybe that the water was stagnant the whole time you played in it, but you never knew, and now it's undeniable because it's so stinky, and you feel that you must deal with it. This puddle, now that it's stagnant and you know it's stagnant, you don't play in it the same, and you feel like you have to deal with it now. It's so stinky though that you're a little scared to deal with it. But you're finding out actually with time that the puddle of stinky stagnant water is shallow, and you just pressure wash it away. And sure, some of the gross dirty bits of the puddle, they get on you in the process. But you put up your pressure washer and you hop in the shower and you clean yourself off, and you never look back because you can't. The mess has been cleaned for you. Okay? And I just feel like that was like really significant to whoever this message was for. But alright, so it's not only would be useful to look up the meanings and messages to your crystals, but to acquire them if possible. And if you can't acquire them, then you can also find a trinket or just something small that reminds you of the energy of your reading, so that you just have that little reminder. So it doesn't have to be the crystal, but maybe you find something that reminds you of the journey you're on that you can keep with you. Just real quick, to wrap up your reading, the overall message that I got, these are the cards I pulled for what action can you take to align you more closely to your purpose. The action is to nourish yourself with love, food, rest, play, but only on your own terms. This is a journey of the self for you, okay? And hope is important to hold close to your heart right now, because you might feel like you're doing this journey like alone, even though you have people and things that you love and you're trying to take those with you. But this is very much a journey of the self, and it's one that you're doing for yourself. So just remember to have hope. And these are the cards that I pulled for you. So right now you're going through a ton of transformation. It's literally to do with your self-image. It's to do with how you create. It's to do with how you present yourself and your creations. Doing these acts of self-love, acts to nourish yourself, it'll be what gives you power, and it'll connect you to your purpose during this time. So I hope that was helpful for you, Pile 2. If it was, please subscribe. I'd love to see you again on my channel for another reading. And if any of this message was something that you want to share because you connected so deeply to it, please feel free to do so in the comments. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome. Pile 3, I just want to say, you made me work. Pile 3. Okay, like the amount of reading and like energy that went into the first two piles combined and then some is what it took to put this reading together. There is so much to unpack here. Like, you are doing hard work right now, and you are doing whatever it takes to get that work done. Okay, it's not just a diligence, it's like diligence and also just diligence and determination. Okay, whatever it takes to get that work done. Like, I've been super busy and haven't been able to do my dishes today yet, so I am all out of glasses, and I made my pumpkin spice latte in literally the gathering dish for my juicer that I use to make fresh orange juice. Okay, we are making it work. We are making it work. But okay, so let's jump straight into your reading. There is a lot to unpack here, so just bear with me. You have literally the most information to unpack of all the three, so we are going to do our best to get this to you effectively. Alright, so Pile 3. let me just say, you have a very powerful energy, okay? It's undeniable. You have clear goals in mind and you are taking definitive action as much as you can. But you have something, something weighs on you and it's weighing you down. But it doesn't stop you. It doesn't stop you. In fact, it fuels you, and it is your fuel and probably a spark, if not the flame, that started your now eternal fire. Okay, so let's just unpack that a little bit more. Before we get into the cards, I just want to cover your crystals. Let me see if you can see them over here. So you can barely see them. Kind of go. So, you know, your crystals over there. So, let's see here. Sorry about that. I had to get adjusted. So, with your crystals, okay, I pulled 3. 2 of them ended up being the same. I just take that, honestly, as a double confirmation on that message. You have these 2 crystals, though the 2, like the doubles, they are this, let me see if I can get it, this little crystal moon dude. And, oh, I just noticed that, to me, it looks kind of like the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if that's significant to you, but, so this crystal here, okay, is either a blue howlite moon or blue turquoise moon. But honestly, I feel like both of those were significant as far as messages go, so I'll just keep that where it is. And the other crystal that we got is this little guy, a green adventurine star. If you don't have these crystals, okay, try to make the time, if you can, to look up the messages. There's important messages to those crystals for your reading, as are for all of the piles. And if you can't, if you don't have the crystals in person and you'd like to, you know, kind of harness the energy or be reminded of the energy of this reading to kind of just pull you back to the realities of the journey you're on, like a reminder of whatever you need to be reminded of in terms of your reading. But you can, if you don't have the crystals and can't afford to get the crystals, just designate a little trinket. So if, for instance, you're like, oh, this reading was about love, I really love this little thing, it brings me a lot of, like, it really warms my heart, it makes me big, makes my heart big, you can just carry that thing around with you as a reminder. You don't have to have the specific crystals. You can just have little trinkets that remind you of the message and get, you know, to the same place energetically. But let's jump right into this reading and asking Spirit, what action can you take to make you, you know, align you more closely to your purpose? So, let's just jump into your journey and, like, the energy I picked up. So, you had, it seems to me, a very foundational disruption that occurred. It causes distraction and deep disturbances to your path. You've been, this may have been the catalyst for the path that you're on. Actually, this disruption may have been the catalyst for the path you're taking. While I was channeling for you, I shivered and I felt really cold suddenly. I did your reading at the same time as I did the other readings, and I felt cold suddenly with yours. So you may feel like alone right now, but you're very noble about this journey, and your wanting warmth is what may be driving you to get to where you're going. You know with confidence where you want to go, what your destination is, and you're putting in the effort to get there. It's a steady dedication to your chosen commitments. There is this pain, though, along the way, but this pain along the way, so let me see. I want to discuss with you a vision real fast that I had before I talk to you about this pain. Just real fast, though, I was picking up on your energy and I was getting very strong vibes, like a high ranking knight, like a medieval knight, and I'm not saying you have to be a male or female, or specifically a male for that, but it's not gender specific. And it wasn't your aura, but like the energy of the power that you give off was like giving off black, red, silver vibes. So I get this very like powerful, strong, respectable individual. I also envisioned a coat of arms. So I think that's what that's called. I think that's what that's called when you have like an emblem to your name, or to like a name that you belong to, is called a coat of arms, I believe. But that came to mind when I was reading for you. Okay, so let's discuss too. Your energy is very much like a powerhouse. It is very much Mars life force energy. You're the type of individual right now where you're at in your journey to, sorry about that, my camera, my SD card got completely full. And okay, I see two other things that might disrupt our reading. Like my timer is about to go off and my battery is about to die, so we will just try to hurry. But pile 3, I'm getting like you. Okay, I was talking about your powerhouse life force energy. Let me get my cat real fast because he's getting in this stuff. Come here. Say hi. Just a second. And okay, so I was talking about your life force energy and how you're a powerhouse. I get the sense that you are working from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, and you do that again the next day. Okay, I would call you a weekday warrior. You might be a coffee drinker, or otherwise you just keep high energy. But I was getting this vision of a knight. I was getting a vision of like a horseback warrior. Okay, and he has his bag on, like a satchel bag packed on the horse. It's packed with the tools he's aware of. He's aware of them because he packed it. He's traveling though on a starry night. He's on his own mission, and he's pacing himself for a journey he both knows will be long and he's ready for. He's eager for it. Something else I picked up on is right now you pace yourself because you have assuredness of your arrival. So you pace yourself because you are sure that you are going to arrive. So on this journey that you're on your horseback, there's pain along the way. But this pain is made to be pebbles, because no matter their true size, your desire to reach your destination is that much more colossal. Okay, so it doesn't matter the issues that you face, you're going to get to where you're going no matter. Okay, and just in reference to like the interruptions I've received while doing this reading, I get the sense that the interruptions you've gotten on your journey have felt like complete detachments to the journey itself. And you feel like you're just completely detached in those moments of distraction from the journey that you're on, and you want so desperately to just remain on this journey. But I get the sense though that actually what you're coming to realize, perhaps or you've realized this whole time, maybe it's a realization that's becoming firmer with time, but that all of those distractions, actually all of those things that pulled you away from the path, it seems, were actually part of the path. So you have a very like assuredness about yourself. You're very stoic about your journey, even though it's a very difficult one. You just look at these difficulties like they are part of the path, even though at times it seems like a complete detachment from the path. But you just use this as tool, as resource to get to where you're going. Okay, you never leave your journey. You're always on the path. You're always in the middle of, from point A. You're not going back to point A. You're on your way to point B. So it really doesn't matter what distractions or detachments come up along the way, because you're still gonna, it doesn't matter if it takes you 3 miles west, 7 miles east, you're still gonna go to the direction you're going after that distraction's over. It's ultimately all leading to where you're going. Along this journey, you gather new and unexpected tools and resources along the way, and you remain humble the whole time, Even when you're walking your horse through waist-high muck, you do it stoically because the whole time your destination is in mind. Your continued, consistent dedication to forward movement will inevitably result in the arrival at your chosen destination. So while I was channeling, I picked up on that your journey isn't an easy one. So I was picking up, like, you know, in cartoons or cartoon films where characters make long distance travel and there's tons of obstacles along the way. It's almost like always the entire cutscene of their journey is distraction and obstacles. But you, as this character in your cutscene, you do all of this obstacle stoically, bravely, nobly. I also picked up that while you're on this journey, you're leaving behind a lover, but you will inevitably return and they wait for you. It's very much, I keep just coming back to this imagery of like the knight, a medieval knight. Like, it's very much like you are on like a quest and there's no option for you but to do this quest. Like, just very much medieval, like, knight vibes. I don't know if that's like the literal time period and all that, but that's like the vibe I was picking up on. So on your long journey here, these distractions don't matter. You have somewhere you have to go, and not going is almost unimaginable. You wouldn't even like dare wonder of it. You know, in those movies where cartoon characters are like, or any movie where this is happening, but usually it's a cartoon character. That's what came to mind. And there's like that whole cutscene of like all the bad stuff that goes on along the way. 3:33 on the clock as I say this. And like, okay, where was I going? I got totally distracted there. You know, okay, so yeah, so this character, they have their destination in mind. They wouldn't even think about not getting to their destination. It's the whole point of the movie is getting to the destination. Like, you wouldn't even think about not getting there. So these distractions, as far as you're concerned, they're just part of the journey because they have to be. There's no choice but to let them be. So on your journey, you may have felt directionless, feeling like you're without a compass. Up is down, down is up. You're totally disoriented. But you're able to orient yourself with the pacing that we talked about. You pace yourself because you know you're going to arrive. That pacing is what orients you through all this confusion. Okay? So in your cards, if you notice up top over there, you pulled for your main card. Okay, like the main card I pulled for you as far as what action, this ended up, your reading ended up being unique. Okay, it wasn't structured, it structured itself. It was not structured like the rest of them, it structured itself. So I picked up Wheel of Fortune and the Unlucky card when talking about what action you need to take to align more closely to your purpose. But actually what I ended up feeling is that this is your perception, or was your perception at one point. Even though you were staying so persistent, you may have felt unlucky and like fortune was against you. Even though you were staying so steady to reach your destination, you may have felt like this, or felt like this along the way. Maybe you still have moments where you feel like this. But I get this upside down fortune and unlucky, you know, the upside down luck. I believe in this reading that is an illusion, you know, and I think one of the aspects that's really important while you're on this journey is that this journey ends up being time for you to think, and you'll reach a very needed clarity during this if you haven't already. It's about persistence. Persistence is the action for you to take to align you more closely to your purpose. Persistence is. Just stay persistent on your path. You know what to do. You're doing it already. Just keep doing that. These obstacles along the way of the journey are actually hidden opportunities for you to discover how strong you actually are. You're on a journey of self-realization that leads to the culmination of you having fulfillment in your purpose in life. Okay, so pile 3, as we discussed, you may have been feeling illusioned along the way. Because you felt disoriented. So let's talk about that a bit, okay? Because I think that came out in your cards while I was pulling for you. Let's see here. Illusions and feeling disoriented. I believe that is because of, you know, there is this, it seems like there was this, a relationship that went maybe sour. You were made to feel anxious, overwhelmed, worried. You were maybe gaslit. Your perception was distorted. Reality may have felt hard to grasp or get a firm grasp of. You were perhaps made to feel remorseful or regretful, but all of this was a lie. All of this was a lie. Okay, and you being disillusioned, actually, you were made to feel crazy, made to feel confused, made to feel anxious, guilty, not sure of yourself. All of this led to heartbreak. It was a very heartbreaking scenario for you. It seems like this was the truth or the foundation that was shattered or crumbled. It led to you initially being defensive, but actually you came into your power through this scenario. It led this person that caused you the trouble to change, honestly, into a new person. And they're trying to offer you my cat just hissed. Alright, sorry about that, pile 3. I ran into another interruption. Surprise, surprise. But I feel like that just goes into the message we're talking about. So, my cat hissed there, just as the camera was cutting off, just as I was about to discuss that this person who wronged you, they're going to be offering you a cup, okay? A cup of emotions. So they're going to be coming forward with an offering, but as you can see, there's a fish in the cup. I'm, taking that as you're kind of fishy about this offering is kind of fishy because of the previous actions. But ultimately, what this offering leads to is a new beginning between the both of you two, and there's potential for celebration within this relationship. So if there is space for forgiveness within you, I think this is the person that is waiting for you, honestly, waiting for you to return from this journey. So I think, there's been pain in this relationship, but it looks like it's one that can be good for you, but it's going to take growth on, their side as willing as, if they're willing to do that, then, you guys can reach a good place. But as far as this circumstance goes, this is your feelings on the matter, okay? So this is what came of this on your side. These are all songs, and I'm going to read the lyrics to you. So this is kind of like the journey that you went on. We have The Contortionist by Melanie Martinez off her Portals album. So you may feel like you're going through a portal, or you went through a portal from this scenario with this person. The lyrics read, I'm done, done doing backbends, I break and I snap, it's no fun, pushed myself into a box while you held out a gun. Okay, the next one is Stunning by Curtis Waters off his album Pity Party. It's called, the lyrics go, ice on my neck, that's incoming, I'm a pretty boy, I'm stunning, super speed Sonic, I'm running. So you feeling like you're done with this situation, and then you are out of there as far as this. You're not looking back to this thing that has you in a box and was making you be a contortionist, fitting to these standards that aren't your own. So you're running from that. The next song we have is Snap Out of It by Arctic Monkeys off their AM wake up, AM, PM. It's making me think you're waking up. Snap out of it. The lyrics go, forever isn't for everyone, is forever for you. It sounds like settling down or giving up, but it don't sound much like you, girl. So I think the foundation that was so disruptive is like maybe this person was like your soulmate, or like the one that you thought was the one, and that was shattered somehow. That image, the foundation of that image was shattered, and you're like asking this person, so are we not forever? Or like, I think you're asking this to yourself. This has been like a very solo journey, or like a very internal one that you've been on internally or externally by yourself very much. Even though there's other people, places, components, things attached to this journey of yours, it's very much a journey that you are on. And I think you were, questioning this person's intentions after you saw this situation for what it is. Okay, and the next song we have is Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood. I Love You, off their I Love You album. So maybe you were feeling cold, left out in the cold from this scenario, left out in the cold alone, and maybe that's why actually this scenario was a catalyst for you to go on the journey alone. You're wanting comfort from this scenario, but that's not what you were getting. It wasn't a situation of love. It felt like you were very unloved in this situation. But the lyrics that are prominent from the Sweater Weather song goes, just us, you find out, nothing that I wouldn't want to tell you about, no, 'cause it's too cold for you here and now. So let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater. Okay, so it's almost like you're returning back to this person. Next we have Mind Over Matter by Young the Giant. Mind Over Matter album. Mind Over Matter is the song and the album title. It makes me think this is highly significant, mind over matter. And I'm not familiar with that saying so much, but it makes me feel like, sorry, just checking the time. It makes me feel like what was really important for you in terms of healing this relationship was just going internal. It was a very cerebral process. You had to do a lot of thinking on your own. It wasn't something that you could think about in collaboration with this person because they were the one who pained you. So you had to do this on your own and then come back to them. Okay, Pile 3, sorry about that. Another interruption, and we're just going to switch over to my phone now so that we don't experience that anymore. Sorry if the audio sounds a little bit different, but I'm sure with this Pile, you are totally chill at this point and used to, road bumps. So let's just get back to it. So you had to go on an internal journey, one on your own because of the situation in this relationship, and you had to go heal on your own because the person who hurt you is typically who you would go to help you heal. But obviously in this case where they hurt you, you didn't want to take the pain that they caused you to them to heal because they were causing you pain. So you went internal in, perhaps on an external journey as well alone, but definitely an internal journey alone because you had to heal yourself, and you were hoping in this journey that you could come back to your person and they are also will have been having spent the time apart healing. And maybe it wasn't physical distance, between the two of you. Maybe it was just symbolic distance, and you guys weren't like being as emotional or like close as you normally would together. But I feel like Young the Giant too, even that is significant because it's like I see you as young, or like your energy is very young in that it's willing to take on freshness, and you're very, I don't know if optimistic is the word, but it's like you are very resilient. You're resilient like a young person would be, and it's like Young the Giant. So despite how like new or like fresh you are to the situation, you're very powerful. Okay, so anyways, let's get to the lyrics of this, and it says, and if the world don't break, I'll be shaking it, because I'm a young man after all, and when the seasons change, will you stand by me, because I'm a young man built to fall. This is the final, card on this matter as far as like how it made you feel. This is, again, this narrative is your feelings, kind of the emotional journey you went on after having this person sort of present to you this illusion, whatever that may have been. Maybe it wasn't that you were capable or that you were good enough on your own or whatever, the illusion was. But whatever it was, this is the emotional journey that you went on. And here's the final bit that we land on before we start our own journey. Maybe this is what we felt like right before we put that first foot on the floor into this next, and again, we land on Portal, the Portal album by Melanie Martinez. This song is called Void, but I feel like this situation was very much a portal for you from a previous timeline into the one that you're meant to be in. So it was very painful, but you're shedding like inconceivable things. You're shedding timelines, you're shedding identities. Like the things that you're shedding are heavy and like profound. So Just give yourself space. Give yourself space to get through this. Like, it's amazing the things that you're achieving. This card it lands on, I gotta escape that void. There is no other choice. Yeah. Trying to turn down the voices. The void ate me. So you may have felt like there is no choice but to escape the situation. That's why you left the illusion that you weren't fortunate, that you're unlucky. You're lucky, you're fortunate, and you're due fortune and luck, actually. This is a very career-driven reading, okay? So this is career-focused as far as the path that you're on. It has to do with being a leader in your field or leading a field forward and being recognized for that. It's a field where you will be expressing yourself, and maybe it's a detail-oriented field and one where you have to think for yourself or think creatively. It's not a field where everything is laid out for you. And maybe that's part of why this journey is a journey as well. It's because it's not a box of life opportunities that can just be readily delivered to your door because so many people before you have done this. It's like so many people before you have not done this. And there have been people who have done this path before you, but you're doing it unique, just like everybody else who has done this path before you. This path that you're on is one that is unique to everybody who does it. One of the things that I pick up on is that maybe a lack of stability, a lack of loyalty, a lack of love is what compelled you to go on this journey in the first place. You were escaping from a sensitivity that wasn't being healed in ways that you would have expected it to be. So it caused you to lean on yourself. It caused you to analyze yourself and to dissect your ego. And it's causing you to take these qualities that you have. I'll try and hurry, you guys, because my phone ran out of space. Can you believe it? But this journey has caused the qualities that you have. Being compassionate, being imaginative, being intuitive, being selfless. And you usually turn those outward. And that's been your MO. You don't look at yourself and expect things. And, you spend a lot of your life boxing yourself in to fit others' needs. Finally, that is over for you. You are turning that compassion inwards, that self-love inwards, that that intuitive guidance inwards, and you're saying, I'm not unlucky, I'm not unfortunate, this is not my destiny to be this way. And you're taking control of your path, okay? Pile 3, and that's all I have for you today. So this persistence is the action that will take you closer to your purpose. I hope that is so helpful. You have been through so much. You deserve what's coming to you as far as all this goodness, all these blessings. It's coming. You all, this reading has been so messy, but I'm going to stop it right there. I just want to let you know that all these blessings, they are coming to you and they are due. They are overdue, okay? So you just need to stay persistent on your path. Everything will work itself out, but you know that. You totally know that. You are in it. But I'm just going to leave it there with all these interruptions that came with this reading today. I mean, you guys know it's a messy time, but I will leave you guys to it because it's very clear, all these piles, you guys are busy focusing on yourselves, and I'm going to let you do that. So hopefully I see you guys in the next reading. Bye.